My name's Tori Fash. I teach grade 2 at Westmount School. We are a K-9 school in Okotoks, Alberta. So it all began in January when students came back from Christmas break. We did some sharing and one of our students who lives near the school had gone to a pet store called the Exotic Animal House and seen a little guy that's called a skinny pig. And none of us had really heard about a skinny pig. I actually thought it was a pot-belly pig. So we Googled it and started to learn that it's actually a hairless guinea pig.
Because he's hairless, he is not natural. He was like in a lab for a bit and they somehow got the hair off of him, so he's not natural.
So that was sort of the beginning of our research and learning about this little guy. And eventually the conversation ended with thinking about the process to actually adopt a class pet.
Well, what happened was the teacher of the classroom, Miss Fash, she came into the store and I was in the back and she was looking at the skinny pig and was inquiring about it. And she mentioned that they wanted to get the skinny pig for the classroom. And I thought this would be a great opportunity. She talked about pricing and cost and the care of that. I explained it to her, just the exact same as a guinea pig, it's just hairless. So the same care and how they make excellent pets for first timers. And she said, we'd like to get this for the classroom. And so I extended the offer that, you know what, if you get the skinny pig, we will donate the skinny pig and the cage, and you just buy the supplies to get them started. And she was so overwhelmed and flabbergasted and very excited. She went back to the school and that's where it started.
I am Cynthia Glakar and I'm the principal at Westmount School. We're a new school in Okotoks in Alberta. We have an exceptional teacher in our school, Miss Fash, and she likes to take our Leader in Me journey to great depths and really get involved with the students and have the students start to think about what they want their classroom to be and how they want to engage in learning and how they want to take responsibility for their lives. And so these students really wanted a classroom pet. In our school, to be able to get a classroom pet, there are lots of steps to do because the students have to do all the research, all the budgeting, all the planning, and then make a proposal to me, the principal, because the money ultimately comes from me to support the pet. So that's how it came across my desk. The kids wanted a classroom pet and knew there were many steps to take to get it.
And we went through the process it takes to achieve something. So we created a proposal that would go to Mrs. Glakar, our principal. So the proposal had things like a budget, an end goal, jobs that each student would have to be involved in order to care for this thing.
We wrote down all the jobs and when we have to do them. And so, yeah, it's every morning we have to do it, and throughout the day we do.
And each student wrote their own proposal so that it was in their own words, and they knew that the task that it would take to care for this little guy. We then set up a meeting with Mrs. Glakar where each of the students spoke about a different part of caring for No-Nos and our end goal and what we were trying to ask for. Mrs. Glakar then asked us to create a specific budget, which the students did using, they Googled skinny pigs, they watched YouTube videos about them and made a list of all the materials that we would need.
It took about a day or two to get the whole proposal done, and then on the third day we got to go down in the boardroom and show Ms. Glakar these.
Well, the students booked my calendar and they booked a boardroom meeting with me, and they came and they had proposals and we sat around a table, and some of the students shared how they had researched Mr. No-Nos and they knew that he was an allergy-friendly pet. Some of the students shared with me that they had done a budget for how much it would cost to feed and keep Mr. No-Nos warm, and some students had planned how they would take care of Mr. No-Nos, what the responsibilities with caring for a pet would be. And so every student in the class spoke to something, his food needs, how he became, like how he's allergy friendly, how they interacted with the parents to ask if the parents were okay with a pet coming into the classroom. So we started with that meeting, and then the students requested a loan from me. And so they had a budget drawn up for startup costs. And they also had done a plan for how they would pay back the money. And it was all written in student language and connected to the Alberta curriculum. So the kids had actually gone through and they knew what learner outcomes they could talk to. So the math outcomes, the science outcomes, the writing outcomes. And then the students did the whole push. And then when I approved the loan, the students and the teacher worked with Exotic Animal House to start to decide how they were going to go about bringing the pet to the school. Yeah, so my part was really the money manager and the permission to move forward.
This morning was actually the most impactful experience for me. It's gone way beyond than what I even imagined, and what my little daughter Rachel has told me what's been going on in the classroom. The planning that went on even before they bought the skinny pig, from the business plan. When Rachel brought me the price list and I had to price out the items for them, and she showed me it, I was so impressed. Because it was like when I went for my first car loan at 16 years old, I had to prove to the bank that I did my homework, I knew what the car was going to cost. That's exactly what this classroom did. And then now going back to the classroom 2 months later, how the classroom has integrated the 7 habits that the school is based on, and to caring for this little animal, and the responsibility, the care, the planning. The kids have to write down and do so much that it's actually been more impactful than what I could even imagine. Now watching it, hearing from the kids, hearing from the teacher, and hearing from the principal of the school.
So we've had many conversations about responsibility and what it means to take care of something that's living, and if you make a commitment, you have to follow through with that commitment. And so now they've become awesome at being proactive and taking charge of him and needing less reminders, for sure.
And as another example after that, so once they did get the skinny pig, then they had to sit down and write a thank you, which we have on our wall. Every single student wrote a little thing about the skinny pig and what it means to them.
No-nos.
Yeah.
That he likes to scurry around and eat every day. He's pretty happy.
What I like about him is the way he acts, like crawling around and scratching himself.
He scratches like a dog.
Well, my favorite thing that I got to do with him was hold him.
How does he feel?
He feels like human skin.
I just feel happy that he can be a class pet and that we can have the privilege to take care of him and feed him and do all those sorts of stuff.
Yeah. We like having him here with us.
And so this is really where my heart has been, and the community aspect is taking shape and kind of gaining momentum of its own.